for joining us. It could become easier to find parking uptown, but you might have to pay more for it. All that's left is a final okay from City Council in a few weeks. WUB's Connor Kirk has details about new parking meters and how the plan could aid customers and business owners.
Smart meters could soon replace every obsolete coin-based meter uptown. But some spots could cost more than others.
The lower demand parking should cost less than the higher demand parking.
City Council is considering a proposal that would create different zones uptown. A zone in high demand would cost more than one in low demand, like on the side streets. All these changes stem from a study conducted by Athens city planner Paul Logue. Logue's study found a major problem is there's rarely enough open spots for customers.
We heard from a lot of people that there was frustration if you need to do a quick trip. You want to get a cup of coffee, you need to run to the bank, pick up a prescription, drop something off somewhere, that because all the parking is 2-hour parking or longer, that it's not always easy to get a spot. So we made a recommendation.
The solution? Designate more spaces as short-term parking only with 10 to 20-minute limits.
I hope that people find parking to be more available in the uptown area. I hope that our short-term parking spaces are located correctly and they are utilized effectively so that the business owners that are going to benefit from those types of spaces are happy.
The hope is by charging $1 instead of 50 cents per hour on Court Street, more people would walk or bike uptown, leaving more spaces open. The new smart meters will accept coins, credit and debit cards, and payment through an app that doesn't charge a 35-cent fee per transaction, unlike the current parking app, Park Mobile.
Because if you don't have any quarters on you, which a lot of people do not carry coin as often as they used to, you're kind of going to gamble that you won't get the ticket.
The plan also includes extending meter enforcement from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and keeping the parking garage open later. Since they've been installed, smart meters have generated over $1,000 more than traditional meters. And if the plan passes, city revenue from parking would increase from $750,000 per year to over $1 million. Reporting for WOUB, I'm Connor Kirk.
The new meters would be installed mid-December during Ohio University's winter break. New parking rates and regulations would take effect on January 1st. The first self-driving shuttle in Ohio is hitting the streets this week for a test drive. The shuttle, operated by Mobility, will be tested in Columbus and is designed to move passengers along the downtown Scioto Mile Loop. The vehicles will have a glass roof that allows riders to enjoy the views of the city's skyline. An operator will also be present on the shuttle at all times to take control of the vehicle if need be. Starting in December, passengers will be allowed to ride. The Ohio Supreme Court says reporters are allowed by law to view preliminary autopsy and investigative notes, findings, and photographs. This comes after the Cincinnati Enquirer was trying to view autopsy reports for the Roden case, where 8 family members were found shot to death in 2016. The Pike County case is still unsolved. Aside from heavily redacted reports, details about certain injuries and toxicology results were not released in 2016. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of reporters today. One local business is using its platform to raise money and awareness for victims of sexual assault. Lots of Pizza's on Court Street put on a fundraiser yesterday to help fight sexual assault in the community. The restaurant donated 50% of sales for the day to the Southeastern Ohio Survivor Advocacy Outreach Program. The day included a tent set up in front of the restaurant with advocates selling shirts and talking to customers, as well as a raffle which gave away items from other local businesses, with all proceeds going to the outreach program. Almost a dozen rapes have been reported in Athens in the past month. Instead of letting those crimes alerts sit in their inboxes, some students are taking action.
Just so tired of hearing girls talking about how scared they were of walking home and how, this isn't a safe campus.
After many reports of sexual assault in Athens the past month, some Ohio University students are doing what they can to combat the issue.
A lot of people were very upset by this, and I was having a little bit of self-reflection. I was like, well, what can I do now?
I want to help be a solution, and to me that's more than $1. That's more than money.
Mary Risner and Aaron Halpin started a group chat on the app GroupMe called Safe Walk Home. Girls can message to check if other girls are walking home at the same time as them. The GroupMe reached its 500-person capacity in 30 minutes, and when 500 more spots were added, it reached capacity again in 30 minutes.
We never expected it to be that big. We thought like maybe, like 100 women would be in it, and then now there's 1,000, and it's so much bigger, and it's just so nice to see women wanting to help other women.
Matthew Shiflett is a Lyft driver in Athens and said in a tweet he would walk passengers from the car to their door.
And making sure people get home safely is more important to me than the extra couple of bucks I can make if I leave you 30 seconds sooner or something. Whether you're on the job or not, we have to take care of each other. And it's crazy to me that this is even an issue that we have to talk about.
Mike Ottinger, also known as DJ Hex, says DJs at the bars look out for people trying to slip something into drinks and are a good resource for people who may need help.
I'm on par with these bartenders in terms of just seeing what's going on. So I have a different perspective on things. And I really just want to do it for our community and for the people close to me that have been affected by that.
Though the long-term effects of these measures students have taken are uncertain, it's clear they're trying to turn what some might call a helpless situation into something good.
I hope that other people help find a solution, that other people are willing to step up, be the difference, just to be better people, be better Bobcats.
For WOUB News, I'm Abby Grisey.
The GroupMe has reached more than 1,000 members and received yet another increase in capacity.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Adriana Davies. And in the past few weeks in Athens and for most of the state of Ohio, we've been stuck in this horrible ridging pattern that's sucking all the moisture from the south, bringing it up north and keeping us nice, humid, and warm. So tonight in Athens, we are going to see a low temperature that is above average of 65 degrees with clearing skies, and we'll see some fog start to move in later in the evening. Winds will remain calm throughout the evening as well. As for our tonight lows, we're looking at 65 up in Columbus, 61 over in Newark, and then 66 down in Ripley, with our high down in Ironton at 68 degrees, with those mostly cloudy skies to start the night, but we will see that clearing like I said. As for our overnight, hour by 8 p.m., 78 degrees, so that's super warm for this time of the year. Mostly cloudy. As those clouds start to move out, we will see the temperature drop to 71 by midnight, and then by 4 a.m., we're looking at 68 degrees with clearing skies. So we are about to move out of this horrible hot and humid ridge that we are stuck in and move into some nice, more seasonal temperatures this weekend.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Adriana. The candidates for Ohio governor will have their first debate tonight. It will be held at the University of Dayton this evening at 7 o'clock. The race between Republican Mike DeWine and Democrat Richard Cordray is close according to polling. 2 more debates will be held in the coming weeks on October 1st and October 8th. 10 recruits who were fired from the Cleveland Police Academy are filing a federal lawsuit. After accusations of cheating, the department wouldn't let 15 recruits take their final exam and kick them out of the academy. They say they did nothing wrong. Amanda Van Allen reports.
After the police academy is done and all the tests are complete, the graduates start their lives as officers. But for 15 recruits from the Cleveland Police Academy, that may never happen.
There's been one recruit who said his 5-year-old daughter would repeatedly ask him, "Daddy, when are you going to graduate the academy?" And he had to tell her, "I'm not going to." And she doesn't understand why. And he doesn't understand why.
That's Eric Henry. He's representing 10 of the 15 recruits who were fired from Cleveland's Police Academy. The city said a few months back they cheated and plagiarized their work. But Henry says that wasn't the case.
This was a collaborative class where they were encouraged to work together. They were encouraged to share notes. This wasn't someone looking at someone's test. This was people working together to try to get the answers that everyone was required to have the same answer.
None of them were allowed to take their final exam that would have allowed them to graduate after the judge sided with the city, saying it's not required to let them take the test.
Now, instead of trying to fight to get them into their job, we're left in a position where we're clawing back not only to try to save their careers and preserve what futures they have in law enforcement, but we're also looking at how the city's actions could have harmed them financially going forward.
Henry says it isn't over. His firm has a federal lawsuit pending.
Get these recruits' names cleared, show that they are not cheaters, they are not plagiarizers, and get them into the career of law enforcement.
The Trump administration is rolling back more environmental regulations. And President Trump is in North Carolina to visit communities hit by Hurricane Florence. Hear how he described the damage when Newswatch returns.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall, which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
President Trump is getting a first-hand look at the damage left behind by Hurricane Florence. The storm may have dissipated, but the threat is far from over in parts of the Carolinas, as floodwaters are still rising. Kara Kaifa is in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Mass devastation, people being pulled from life-threatening situations, entire communities completely cut off, taken over by rising floodwaters. That is the dire situation in the Carolinas that President Trump is seeing firsthand during a period of time FEMA is describing as extremely critical.
We've gone through very dangerous work and still dangerous, but some of the hard work is taking place right now, even though it's nice and beautiful and sunny.
Waters are slowly receding in some places, not yet revealing damage and debris, but in others like Wilmington and Lumberton, the situation could get worse. Near Fayetteville, the Cape Fear River quadrupling its depth from 15 to 60 feet by Tuesday afternoon.
Some of the flooding is actually epic, hard to believe. And we've seen all the pictures where houses are literally covered beyond the roof. You don't even know there's a house there.
More than 1,000 flooded roads were closed in North Carolina, 200 in South Carolina, literal roadblocks to ongoing recovery efforts and delivering much-needed supplies.
It made it right down to the North Carolina line, and we have sites in Lumberton and New Bern, and the roads were just too bad. So we just took a turn and got off 95 and came back towards Lexington.
In Morrisville, North Carolina, I'm Karen Kaifa.
The man accused of killing Molly Tibbetts says he's not guilty. Christian Rivera was arraigned on murder charges and pleaded not guilty today in an Iowa court. The 24-year-old Mexican citizen wore headphones and listened to the proceedings with the help of a Spanish translator. Rivera was charged last month with Tibbetts' murder. Tibbetts vanished in July while out for a run in Brooklyn. Her body was later found in a cornfield. Rivera wanted his right to a speedy trial, so a judge set an April 2019 trial date. He is in jail on a $5 million cash-only bond. The Trump administration is reversing another Obama-era energy regulation. The regulation was designed to prevent methane from escaping into the atmosphere during oil and gas operations. The decision was made yesterday. The Obama administration required oil and gas companies to capture leaking methane and to gradually update their technology. The Department of the Interior said in a statement that rule unnecessarily burdens the private sector. Hurricane Florence isn't the only storm causing damage. That story's still ahead.
And coming up next on Newswatch, we'll talk about some severe storms coming on Friday, but cooler temperatures are on the way. We'll talk about that and more up next on Newswatch. And here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Good evening and welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies, and right now in Athens we're looking at 84 degrees, which is relatively above average for this time of the year. A muggy evening is in store with some light winds ahead as well. Taking a look at our almanac for today, 87 was our high, way above average. We're sitting almost closer to the record than we are as the normal for today. So our low temperatures are also trending with that as well. Taking a look as our tonight lows around the region, 65 as our low in Athens, with 68 over in Ironton and 66 down in Ripley. So mostly cloudy skies for the area as well. As for our tomorrow highs, look at that, 89 in Marietta and in Ripley and over in Jackson as well. 87 in Athens and then 87 up in Columbus too. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies, but we will see those clouds move out throughout the evening as well. As for tomorrow, like I said, 87 degrees as our high in Athens with the sun and cloud mix. Hot, hot, hot yet again. We are going to move out of this pattern into the weekend, but we will see some winds from the south at 0 to 5 miles an hour. At the bus stop tomorrow morning, though, 66 degrees. It is going to be a foggy start today, which will be clearing by 10 a.m. Some light winds will keep that fog around, like I said, until the late morning, but we will see that move out by the lunch hour. As for our hour by tomorrow, 66 degrees, a cloudy start to the day at 8 a.m. By noon, we'll see that 80 degree already, and then, like I said, by 4 p.m., 87 as our high. So we will see those clearing skies will just make it feel way hotter. We're looking at heat indexes tomorrow into the mid to low 90s, so it's going to be warm. But as for tomorrow, we don't have to worry about that precip just yet. It is going to move in during Friday, into the Friday evening, and you can kind of see that cold front start to define itself over there, and that will affect us into Friday. But as for our SPC outlook, we don't have to worry about anything tomorrow. Like I said, the rain chances are going to start to increase as we move into Friday, and we are looking at a slight risk for some severe weather on Friday, which means that we might see some hail and some strong winds associated with the storms that are going to be moving in. So keep your head up and your eyes to the sky. Follow Scalia Lab on Twitter, and we will keep you guys updated throughout the week. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, though, we're going to see that trend of hot weather until we move into the Saturday. 60% chance for rain on Friday, and then we'll see some rain chances lingering through the weekend, and then into next week, more rain on the way, but that will keep it a little bit cooler for us. Nick?
Search and rescue efforts are underway in the Philippines for anyone who may have survived a huge landslide triggered by Super Typhoon Mangkhut. At least a dozen victims' bodies have been recovered so far, and more are feared dead. CBS reports 81 people have died, and officials say that number could reach triple digits as rescues continue. The typhoon is considered the strongest storm of 2018. Now over to you for sports, Nick.
Both the Reds and Indians came away with victories last night. Highlights from those games coming up. Plus, hear from head volleyball coach Dean Webb on his mindset as the Bobcats start MAC play. All that and more coming up after the break. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall.
Which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you.
And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage.
So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Orsini. The Ohio volleyball team opens up Mid-American Conference play tomorrow against Kent State. Head coach Dean Webb says scheduling out-of-conference opponents is big for his team because it exposes them to a different level of competition.
It was a great opportunity for us to play a number of high-level teams. And, I would say there was a couple looking back that were probably either could have or should have wins. Looking back, probably should have been 7-6 instead of 5-8. You're not going to win every one that's out there, but I think there were a couple looking back we probably should have gotten that we didn't. But that's a learning opportunity for us. We have a number of people that are stepping up for us right now and excited to go into MAC play.
Webb and the Bobcats host the Golden Flashes tomorrow at 7 p.m. inside the Convo. The Ohio field hockey team is back in action this week with 2 games at Pruitt Field. Tomorrow afternoon, the Bobcats welcome the University of California, Davis, and on Sunday, Ohio hosts the Central Michigan Chippewas. Ohio is coming off a 1-0 victory over Appalachian State, and they are currently 2-4 on the season. UC Davis is in the midst of a 2-game losing streak. The game against UC Davis is scheduled for 4 p.m., and the Central Michigan game is scheduled for noon on Sunday. It may be just the preseason, but the Columbus Blue Jackets are trying to build off a historic season last year. Last night, they welcomed the Chicago Blackhawks into Nationwide, and they exploded for 4 goals en route to a 4-1 victory. Alexander Wedberg, Cam Atkinson, Zach Dalpe, and Liam Foudy scored for Columbus. It may seem a bit early to talk about hockey, but the Jackets' regular season debut against the Red Wings is only 15 days away from puck drop. The Cincinnati Reds' playoff hopes are all but gone, but that does not mean they cannot spoil opposing teams for a fall run, let alone against one of their division rivals. Scott Schebler started off the game with a single, and then shortstop Jose Peraza blasts a 2-run homer over the left field wall, and the Reds jump out to a 2-0 lead. The Brewers made it 2-1 in the second, but Schebler answered with an RBI double in the fourth, and that was the final score, 3-1. Milwaukee only managed just 3 hits against 5 Cincinnati pitchers. This is the Brewers' 3rd loss in 4 games. Can Matt Harvey make it 4 out of 5? Find out tonight at 7:40 in the series finale. Staying on the diamond, the Cleveland Indians have already wrapped up their 3rd straight AL Central title, but that would not stop Corey Kluber from displaying his dominance against the Chicago White Sox en route to a 5-3 victory for the Indians. Kluber struck out 11 batters in 8 innings to record his career-high 19th win. With the outing, Kluber also topped the 200-strike mark for the 5th straight season. Tonight, Carlos Carrasco takes the mound for Cleveland, seeking his 17th win of the season, and that first pitch is set for 7:10. And tuned into SportsBeat tomorrow on 1340 AM WOUB. Host Lucas Moore and producer Russ Heltman talk Ohio football, and special guest Mo Egger from WLW in Cincinnati talk about Ohio's opponent, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Plus, Trimble football head coach Phil Fairs joins the boys to discuss the reopening of their stadium with their home opener on Saturday. You don't want to miss this jam-packed show. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., 1340 AM, WOUB. Well, that's all I have for sports tonight. I'm Nick Orsini-Taylor. Back to you.
Thanks, Nick. Though many college students learn a thing or two about beer and wine on the weekends, one Ohio school will cover those topics in a more academic setting. Lourdes University in Sylvania will offer an undergraduate degree in beer and wine making starting next August. It will feature courses in fermentation, chemistry, nutrition, and accounting. The program is being offered due to a growth in the industry. The number of breweries in the U.S. increased by 400% in a 6-year period. Lourdes University will work with local breweries, California vineyards, and distilleries in Ireland. That's all I have for now. Over to Adriana for our final weather.
Thanks, Taylor. And tonight in Athens, our low is 65 degrees with these clearing skies. It is going to stick around and be humid all through the evening as well, with some calm winds throughout the evening. As for tomorrow, 87 degrees. It is going to be hot all day, hot and humid yet again. We're sticking with that trend with a sun and clouds mix. We will see some winds from the south at 0 to 5 miles an hour, which will make it feel a little bit better outside. But taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we will see a cold front move through after Friday, keeping it nice and cool for the weekend. Taylor?
Thanks, Adriana. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Taylor Pacelli. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WUB.org. Have a great night.